distance.
Just a moment. How should I put this? Oh, I know. Oh, hi. Tell me about yourself. What do you want to know? I'm from all over. Actually, I was born in Galt, in a tiny village that's not even on the maps. If it weren't for my teacher, I'd still be living there, milking goats, weeding turnips, swilling homebrew, having babies, and using books only as kindling. Teacher? Oh, he's a true saint. He was once an important person in the capital at the church of Shaylin. Or Shellin. Shellin? But he got in trouble with the authorities and went on a self-imposed exile to the tiniest, most godforsaken, priestless village he could find. The one where I was born. He wanted to open a school, but the villagers wouldn't let him. You can heal us all you like, but no putting any ideas into our children's head. It'll only distract them from their work. But he did teach me on the sly. He taught me how to read, how to write, and he gave me books, poems, legends. He was the one who taught me about the Arknights of Avestan. And when I told him I was going on a journey, he gave me a magic ring so that Shellin would protect me from harm. I haven't seen him since I ran away from home. I hope he's alright. I ask Shellin every day to grant him a long life and new students. Who are the Arknights? Oh, you haven't heard of them? Well, how can you be a hero without knowing one of the most epic stories in history? No, I won't spoil anything. You should read them for yourself. Every single chapter. Their adventures are what gave me the idea to go on a heroic quest and writing about it to begin with. And now, look at me. Here I am, on a heroic quest. How'd you become a bard? When I realized there was nothing at home besides more radish patches, I decided to run away. A traveling book peddler, Tessie the Quill, happened to cross our village. Well, I stuck to her like a burr and wouldn't let go until she agreed to take me on as an apprentice. Together we traveled everywhere, to Brevoy, to Taldor, and even to Ustalov. And then I found out about the Academy of the Grand Arcs in Patax. And I thought, well, I love reading stories, so surely I can write them too. I enrolled on my first try, and they even gave me a scholarship. Then they expelled me, but that's okay. They taught me all of the important stuff, and now with Shaylin's help, I can manage on my own. Do you worship Shaylin? Yes, not to offend the other gods, but she's the most important of them all. And all the gods and all the other gods guard the world as it is, but only the eternal Rose, the god of beauty, calls to us to the world as it should be. Your clothes are kind of a tragedy. Forget it. I can't waste my money on looks. I'd rather buy books instead. In 100 years, when people are reading my works, they aren't going to ask whether the author had holes in her sleeves. Okay. You came from Patax, right? Tell me about it. Oh, I love Patax, even though they kicked me out. A joyful place. What was it like? Actually, Patax was always one of the hugest nest of thieves, bandits, river pirates, smugglers, fences, card sharps, and it's always been home for the likes of them. But that was before Irovetti became king. With him, a whole different life began. Irovetti always wanted to make history, and not as another bandit with a crown. Although that's exactly what he is, he wanted to be glorified through the centuries as a great patron of the arts. So he built the Academy of Grand Arts and spent lots of gold to assemble the best artists, poets, and musicians. Of course, the very best ones refused to go, and he got what he wanted in a way. If Patax was once just a booze barn for thieves, now it's a cabaret. What do you know about him? He won his crown in a game of cards, which says as much about Patax as it does about him. He's fiendishly clever. Some cheats I know told me that from the moment he appeared, he started pulling off such schemes that the old city masters had just scratched their heads. With him in charge, gold flooded into Patax, and also he's incredibly unmanageably, fantastically decadent and conceited. Getting drunk with whores at the pub, and not Lord Irovetti's style, that's not Lord Irovetti's style. Oh no, he aims higher. Dressing up like a male Callistra with a golden codpiece and holding a 3-week orgy with dancing on the rooftops, parades, public executions, and a contest for the best ode to the greatest unrivaled king. That's more like it. Oh, he also likes singing. He orders his guards to make the citizens gather for his shows. May Shellen have mercy on the listeners. Tell me about the Academy. You know, jokes aside, I'm thankful for Aravetti for building it, but he has no taste, like at all. Whatsoever. He likes his art loud, bright, grandiose, and most importantly, glorifying His Royal Highness. He kicked out the best charcoal artist because he didn't wish to spend money on gray scribbles. He sacked a masterful flute player from Tianjia for playing too quietly, and instead ordered them to open a kettle drum class. He even ordered the Academy to expel me, and for what? An innocent limerick. Do you want to finish your study someday? I'd like to return, but on one condition. If they threw out 3/4 of the professors who teach there now, and returned all the ones that they banished. If you ask me, I'm proud to have been expelled. If my art was to Iravetti's liking, then I would have reason to be ashamed. As long as mediocre lick sprinkles sit at the Academy and those with real talent beg on the streets in Patax, I will not cross the threshold of that place. Let me get a sipper in. Tell me about the book. What's there to tell? You've seen some of my rough drafts already, haven't you? It's a book about you and your grand adventures. I'm writing the whole truth, just as it happened. Well, the whole artistic truth. You know, no glory, no story. Why? When I was at the Academy, Eobald the Insightful began his literature course with one question. What is a person? And he answered, a person is a storytelling animal. Our world does not consist of things, all these woods, seas, and cities. It consists of stories about those things. Those stories we tell to ourselves, to each other. Just think about it. Centuries will pass, and there will be no one, no me, and no you. All your subjects will be long gone, but you and I will live on in people's memories and influence their deeds, thanks to this very book. But it's full of inconsistencies. Well, yes, I can admit that. Sometimes one has to bend a few details for the sake of dramatic effect. It's called poetic truth. I write about everything as if I saw it with my own eyes, even parts of the adventure that I wasn't around for. But I do always carefully question everyone who was with you at the time. Think of it as a general picture. In the end, you're the hero of this book, and I'm just the storyteller. So what kind of character am I? Truth be told, I was a little afraid of meeting a real hero. In books, they're all protectors of the weak and poor, but what about in real life? But you've eased all my fears with 2 shakes of a tail. You're a true hero, and just like in the legends, my new fear is that in 100 years, my readers will say that people like you never existed, but I'm writing the truth. How do you feel about me reading your work? Well, these are only drafts, but of course you're welcome to read them. Just keep in mind that even if you don't like what I write about, I won't change a single letter, so don't even ask. Of course, it's about you, but it's my book, understood? Alright, whatever, I don't really care. Thank you for your trust. I will not set out to please you, of course, but I still hope that you'll like my book as much as my other readers. Tell me about your friendship. Well, what's there to say? The books woke my urge to travel, but it was only thanks to Tessie that I managed to really get out of my village. At first, Tessie tried in vain to get rid of me, but later when I told her I was staying in Patax, she even shed a tear. I wonder where she is now. That ring, what's the deal with it? Ah, this. It was a gift to me from my first teacher. It's magical, imbued by the powers of Shaylin, no less. When I get myself into trouble, it transports me into a safe spot. So please don't be angry with me if I suddenly disappear from a fight. I'll wait for you there, I promise. And don't leave without me, of course. I could just write whatever you tell me, but if I wanted to stay cooped up in a dusty room, I'd be sleeping through lectures at the Academy. Yeah, In regards to Lindsay's ring, essentially, if she would ever be killed in a fight, she will just teleport away instead. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me a whole lot. Hey, you're an adventurer. At least if you aren't reloading. Yeah. But I will be because I expect either the dice gods to frown on me from time to time and kill me. Especially that one fight where you get ambushed by the Tectonic League or whatever they're called. I usually fight that, and it usually requires at least a few reloads. You're an adventurer, right? Seeking your fortune. Burn a scroll of 6k so you can bring. Yeah. Hey, you're an adventurer, right? Seeking your fortune in the Stolen Lands. You aren't the only one of your kind here. Take my advice. Who are you? Enorial 8 Eyes. Once upon a time, I was famous in Absalom. Enorial 8 Eyes of the Reckless Six. Well, glory passes quickly. A few miserable decades later, and no one recognizes you on the street anymore. What a shame. Why are you here? I sit here waiting for adventurers who are needing help. Yeah, essentially she will let you make mercenaries. Yeah, oh man. You're not wrong. Why are you called 8 Eyes? Once long ago, I could spot an enemy and pin him to the wall before he could even think of attacking. Some said I had 8 eyes and looked all around at once. Though it seems I outlived my nickname. I've been drinking so much lately, it's best I don't test my skills too often. I mean, yeah. Yeah, her having no con, so she can't die is really, really nice. The only downside, it's not that much of a downside, is that she can't be healed through traditional means. You have to use negative energy. But aside from that, yeah, Jathal's great. I love Jathal. I want to know how one could exchange the life of a Pathfinder for the sorry drunken rat hole. You lose all your friends and become one scumbag, and then you'll understand. I seek only to return from the final camp. I was the only one to return from the final campaign of the Reckless Six, and whatever is left of me can't be called a seeker anymore. Here's our story. Our leader, Vermelt, was the best of us, wise, brave, friends with everyone. One of those friends, Advian Adrasant, sent him a disturbing letter. He stumbled upon mention of some ancient books on the art of necromancy. Secrets like those are best left hidden forever. Trust me, I've seen what that kind of magic can do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. The fear one being the most annoying, I find. Behold person also very annoying. To make a long story short, those volumes were supposedly hidden in the catacombs of Gallowspire. We decided that the books should be retrieved and kept safe by the Society. We gathered the tavern, discussed the expedition, and then proceeded to Ustalov. It was a normal mission, a quick and quiet recovery. But everything turned out to be much more complicated. We barely made it through the Witchgate Forest. All those terrible living trees, undead druids, and their arches of bone. It was a miracle we managed to make it out alive. We'd chosen Wren Church to stop at. It was marked on Vermelt's map as a safe enough haven to hole up and lick our wounds. How I wish it had been true. Vermelt was the first to perish. He was attacked by one of the monsters hiding in the stables. It tossed him out like a feather and threw him down an ancient well. His shout echoed for a long time, and I didn't hear the sound of him landing. And then... Enough. I shouldn't have gotten into this. Who am I to stir up others' feelings with all of my chatter? We better forget about it for now. Maybe I'll tell you some other time, but not today. The rest of this is just... It's not really worth going over with her. Basically, she just is there to recruit mercenaries for you if you want somebody other than the stock characters that you're given. Good day. I hope you're feeling alright after that battle. I can't thank you enough for what you've done. I definitely don't want to waste your time, but if you have a moment, I have a request. What do you want? This is a very personal request, and maybe not important enough for your time. I completely understand if you say no, but the first time the Staglord's thugs came here demanding money, they also took my wedding ring. Just tore it off my hand. It's just a trinket, really, but it meant so much to me. I remember every moment of the day Oleg came to me with that ring in hand and asked if I'd marry him. I was standing in a fancy dress on the stairs of my father's home, fearing that I'd misheard something, or that I'd say something stupid, and everyone would laugh. If you happen to find my ring among the bandits' possessions, please bring it back to me. It's easy to recognize. My name is engraved on the inside of the band. There's one more thing. Among the bandits, there's a dark-haired woman that wields dual axes. She's not bad in a fight. In fact, she can be extremely dangerous and cruel. But please, I beg you, show her mercy if you have the chance. Can't really promise anything, but if I do come across your ring, I'll return it to you. I understand and I appreciate any effort you put into it. But tell me about yourself. It was Oleg's idea, though I supported him in it. We didn't realize how dangerous it was here, of course. In Restov, everyone respects the Sword Lords, and everyone's accustomed to relying on them. Even the mention of someone like Lady Jamandi is enough to fend off a street thug or some other trouble. It could maybe even work in some places here, but not with the Stag Lords, man. What do you know about him? He's not just some average bandit. If no one puts a stop to him, he'll turn the stolen lands into his personal kingdom. A kingdom of fear and oppression. Well, I like adventures. I definitely prefer ones that involve stopping villains and helping people. Even though I say crazy things. Bro. Certainly ruffled those villains' feathers. Well, anyway, new day, new troubles. Have you seen the fog? Never seen anything like it before. The road to Restov looks like someone spilled milk and it just hung in the air. I couldn't see anything through that suit. Not even with a torch. Feels like witchcraft to me. And I'd bet the Staglord's somehow involved. Rumors say he deals with all kinds of bad magic. Well, I need to see your wares anyway. All that stuff that we procured off of these guys, I'm gonna sell it back to you. Dang it. That's what I meant to do. Should be good. Everyone else is at about 18 to 17. Alright, what else? Why open your trading post in a dangerous place? I just dislike the noise. I'm from Restov. Cities are complicated. Lots of people, and each are their place on the shelf. Bow before this one. Fear this other. Don't do business with a third, but be sure to be extra nice to the fourth, and villages are a little better. Everyone likes to stick their noses in each other's business, I just wanted a place where I could be my own master. So I ended up here. Stag Lord, you know anything that could help me find him? It's quite a task you've set yourself on. The Stag Lord has a fortress somewhere in the area, but only a few chosen for the most trusted of his rabble are ever invited. The location of the fortress is a heavily guarded secret, and with this fog hanging around, I'd imagine it'd be even harder to find. I suppose you could try to follow the trail of those bandits who attacked the post before. They came from the southwest from the side of the Thorn River. Fortress might be there, or at least some large camp of theirs where you could find information. What else do you know? Honestly, not much. It's not like I've sat down and shared a cup of wine with the man, you know, but I think he arrived in the Stolen Lands less than a year ago from what I heard. But as soon as he got here, he took over everything. I wrote to Rostov, tried to warn him that Stag Lord wasn't a typical gang leader, but they wouldn't listen. The rumors about him are horrible. He'll kill a person if they so much as disagree with him. Never reveals his face. Those who've seen him up close report the same thing. Ugly scars all over every inch of his skin, not covered by his clothes. Stag Lord's past is a mystery. He just arrived one day, and he was immediately a power to be reckoned with. I guess the most surprising thing about him is that he has so many followers who admire him, as he has minions who obey him out of fear. He's got some inner strength in him, or maybe inner madness. There are many who seem to follow him because of that madness, like it was some kind of virtue. Alright, cool. Thanks, bud. Ha, old Boken still knows a trick or two to impress these blood-sucking dummies. Enough hiding in the damn bushes, I say. Can I help you? Well, since you're asking, there's this cave nearby. Yeah, I used to pick berries in there, but the place has been overrun by spiders. The berries are red, look a lot like raspberries, fangberries I call them. I'd be real grateful if you gathered a basket of them and brought them back. You know, just be quick if you do. They spoil quickly. Those spiders in the cave are mean. Here, let me give you some alchemical fire. Crafted it myself. Burn those spiders right to a crisp. I'll teach them for taking over my fangberry cave. I need a bucket of moon radishes. They're rare and a mysterious plant, but I don't know where to find them. I know that kobolds gather them and value them highly. It's not a huge deal. I'd do it myself if I were younger, but I'm willing to pay you 3 potions for the berries and a purse full of coins for the radishes. Yeah, sure. Just watch out, alright? Don't end up someone's lunch.
Step, step, step!
Greetings. Everything is well, I hope. I'm ready for orders. Okay, tell me about yourself. What exactly would you like to know? I was born of a noble family, though I didn't remain long on the family estate. My father sent me to the Order of the Eternal Rose, but I left once I realized it didn't match my principles. Where are you from, I guess? I was born in Brevoy, but in fact I've never seen much of the country. Spent my childhood on a remote estate owned by my noble family. My father was a respectable philanthropist and benefactor of the Church of Shellen. He's also a renowned private collector and a great admirer of the arts. My mother saw to my education personally. From my early years, I learned good manners, how to behave at the dinner table, and a proper form of words for every occasion. I also learned the difference between true nobles and low-born upstarts, and I learned how to treat them properly. Our home was always under the protection of several paladins of Shellen. My father has donated a handsome sum to their order. One of them, a man of venerable age and a gray beard, once let me touch his shining armor. I still remember the admiration I felt when I touched the cold, polished steel. Of all my memories of childhood, that is somehow the warmest, which is very weird. Why were you sent to be a paladin of Shellen? As you can imagine, From my first days, I was surrounded by crowds of servants and nannies who never stopped praising my heavenly beauty. The paladins of Shellen, who used to visit our house, echoed these praises. In the end, the general consensus overwhelmed my father's better judgment. When I turned 6, I was brought to the Church of Shellen and I was told that this would be my new home. Don't pity me, though, I beg of you. Many who hear this story immediately assume that my parents were cruel and had no love for their child. My parents had respect for me. They taught me something that has supported me all of my life, a sense of self-esteem. Besides, they didn't abandon me. Once every 6 months, they would come and visit me at the Order of the Eternal Rose. We had some tea, and then an hour to walk the garden. Then they would take their leave, as etiquette demanded. Okay, what'd you learn? A variety of things. Some of them appealed to me, others I simply couldn't accept. I enjoyed the physical activities and the swordsmanship, but the arts, calligraphy, painting, poetry, and so many other ways to waste one's time. I guess that deep in my heart, I always knew I'd never be a true paladin of Shellen. Wielding a sword always felt more natural to me than handling a paintbrush. Well, why'd you leave? Because of my heavenly beauty. Huh. According to Shellen's laws, all art is sacred, whatever form it takes. Severe punishment awaits those who dare harm a painting, sculpture, poem, no matter how worthless the drivel might be. My looks always attracted unwanted attention from pilgrims and acolytes at the temple. I received my first poem dedicated to me when I was 9. The author was some wealthy geezer. And then that was the only beginning. Sculptures, pictures, poems, I was drowning in them. My admirers mocked me, and I had to respectfully accept all of their garbage. The clerics of the temple were magnanimous, for my suitors made generous offerings to the church, but one time, I snapped. Some wealthy idiot has dedicated an extremely untalented poem to me, and he had the nerve to read it right to my face, holding my sleeve. The hour was late, and I was on my way to get some rest after a boring lesson on rhymes. I lost control and tore the poem apart right in front of him. The paladins wanted to impose some punishment upon me. I don't remember which one exactly. They wanted me to repent. Instead, I just gathered my things and left. What did you do after you left? I set off for Restov. I wanted to get as far away as possible from Shellen and the destiny everyone seemed so ready to force upon me. Besides, the school of swordsmanship in Restov was has a quite decent reputation. Honestly, I was hoping for an opportunity to learn from the famous Eldori masters. Eventually it became clear that their technique wasn't a good fit for me. They teach to avoid impact, whereas I always prefer to raise my shield. But my abilities and skills, which I'd learned from the Order of the Eternal Rose, were enough to make sword lords take an interest in me. They offered me a chance to join the mercenaries who served the sword lords, and I accepted. We're not going to comment on her beauty. She doesn't like that. Tell me about Shellen and their paladins. She's the goddess of love, beauty, and art. Her paladins are something like armored artists. That's how they think of themselves, at least. They're fanatical defenders of worthless inartistic paintings and meaningless opuses. If you care to know my opinion. What do they usually do? They wander around seeking the next pile of garbage, and then when they find it, they call it an immortal piece of art and admire it till they're blue in the face. You might not believe this, but the paladins of Shellen aren't allowed to slay their enemies if they beg for mercy. Can you guess why? Because a bandit, rapist, or murderer who has been put to the sword will never be able to create something beautiful in the future. So a paladin overpowers their enemy in battle, then inspires them to create a masterpiece. It might sound hilarious if it weren't true. Plus, all of Shellen's followers are obligated to practice some sort of art in his or her free time. Every single day, no matter what else is going on, even if you're feeling sick or hungry or sleepy. Otherwise, according to the clerics, you might lose your connection to the goddess. Preposterous notion. Wouldn't you agree? So you're an atheist. You don't worship anything? Right. I need no guidance from above. I have my own good conscience and my leader's orders to live by. You know, you don't have to follow etiquette and maintain good manners when speaking with me if you don't want to. I'm aware of that, but I'm sure you understand that I am what I am. That's how I was brought up, first by my parents, then by my mentors at the Order. Besides, I was born into a noble family, so I rather enjoy the idea of my manner of speech differs a bit from the common language of the peasantry. You just can't imagine how many social climbers have bowed politely the moment I opened my mouth. You're so eager to follow my orders, why? What do you mean, why? I follow your orders. I've joined your campaign because I have faith in you. I believe your intentions to be noble, though things might not have always turned out as you've planned. You're my commander, your orders are law, it is my duty to follow them. Well, so long as you don't order me to do something that's absolutely dishonorable, but that would never happen, I hope. She also knits. I don't... there's a part in that conversation where you can actually get her to say that she knits as her artistic thing, because it's her... She does it more because she likes doing stuff with her hands, so she knits. We gonna talk? Alright, spill it, I'm listening. We're just talking. Dunno, depends on what we're gonna talk about. If it's about monsters or swords or scars, I approve. That's good. If you're gonna ask questions like why or what for or how, screw this. Or you got even harder ones? Well, tell me about you. First, I'm a barbarian. I'm strong. I grew up in the realm of the Mammoth Lords. Left my tribe, the Six Bears. And I like fights. Well, what's it like to be a barbarian of the Six Tribes? Ha! Our people are big and strong. We can cut a monster in half with one swing. We can walk 3 days and nights with no rest. We can eat a whole fried aurochs. I guess you do a lot of training. Training? No one frickin' trained me. The boys of the Six Bears got the training. All I could do was watch. And you know what? They were still crap even after all that training, because I kicked their butts hard. Animals, bandits, monsters, all thought that they were stronger than me. Idiots. Because if you start a fight, you think you can win. You think you're stronger than your enemy. I defeated them all. See all the scars on my face? What's the realm of the Mammoth Lords look like? Huge and freezing, no place for weaklings. Tribes hunt aurochs herds to survive. Aurochs are fast, so tribe follows herd for days, just to not die of hunger. If you are weak, you stay behind and you die in the snow. Tribe cannot stop. Also, there are giants and mammoths. Sometimes demons too. And the mastodons and the saber-toothed tigers. You would survive, I think, for a few days. So why did you leave? Because they were assholes, all of them. Men were cowards and scoundrels, and the women were scared like sheep. Men think no girl can be a fighter because they are weak. They are afraid a woman can beat them. And females just nod, go sew hides, cook meat, watch kids. And that's what they always say. But I'm a warrior, damn it. I won't cook hides and watch meat. I told them so. I went hunting with men. And what did I get? Still the same. You're a woman, you stay home. Even gave me a nickname, the Soft Chieftain. Like a warrior woman was a funny joke. Damn, I even went to hunt those shit-faced frost giants and there. So I left. Cowards, scoundrels, and sissies they were, that's why. Well, I mean, you're a good fighter. Kind of. Quite good, huh? Compared to who? If I was a crappy male, I'd fight better? Is that what you say? Or you say I could be better, like, go get some training in me, right? Look, you're very good in a fight. Excellent warrior. That's just a compliment. I was just trying to be nice. True, I fight good. That's what I do best. So why'd you leave, and what's the story with the frost giants? I told you already, they were assholes. They treat women like sheep, not fighters. As for giants, I tell you later, someday, maybe. It's a impressive sword you got. You bet it's not simple. Look how big it is. This sword belonged to a real blasted frost giant. I killed the beast and took this looker for myself. Fits me perfect. My damned trophy. And that's the reason why we gave her an axe. Because that sword is oversized. Which... with the great axe, +4 to hit. +3 does more damage. But really, in the early part of the game, we really need her to be able to hit more frequently. Although +3, really not that bad. The build that I'm working on, or that I have for her, she will eventually use the sword as a primary weapon, or other weapons. Alright, I'm going to get another drink. I will be right back. Alright. Off we go. So we got a few places we can go to. This is where we're going to head. And by a few, I mean we have two. We have two places we can go to. But we have to chart the path ourselves. Well, hello. Jittery old man in squalid clothing scuffles towards you. His gray hair is unkempt, and he casually clenches unclenches his wrinkled, freckled hands. Freckled hands? Feckled hands? When he stomps and looks at you, his eyes widen, and he tugs at his beard. Strange weather. Invisible fog creeping out of the woods soars beyond the sky, obscures the sun and moon. Strange. I don't like this old man. Looks like the kind who can cast the evil eye. Fog looks visible enough to me. I see more than ever. I've never seen so much before. But someone must look, and no one else can. Who are you? Remus. That doesn't help with the fog. What are you doing here? I do nothing. Breathe, walk, observe. I should probably go. You hasten? You should. Your rival wastes no time. He races, but in another direction. He searches for power. He'll find it. You mean Tartuccio? He's not tall, but he wants to climb high. Beside him are those who could stand against him, and might yet still. Can you tell me where he is? He's in an old tomb south of the trading post. Thanks. What is he searching for? Someone else's. Old but forever young. That which was taken from another. That which gave joy and now gives death. How do you know we're rivals? I don't know. I see. You can choose where you set your eyes, usually, but you can choose what they. But can you choose what they see? All right. I'm gonna bounce. Once stolen, the land should be reclaimed. Once reclaimed, bound with the claimer it shall be. Bound, merged, joined by unbreakable ties, claiming the land, claiming its pain, claiming its death. Okay.
Step, step, step.
Thank you, Remus, for your insights. So that should have opened up another place. Yep, the ancient tomb. Which is where we'll go first.
Time becomes distance.
So, pop quick save.
I crave for adventure.
What you want?
Let's shake a leg. So
Don't hesitate.
How long does this last? 10 minutes?
And Lindsay was called forth.
I'm listening.
A gnome in gaudy purple garb seizes your attention. Of course, the scoundrel Tartuccio, who you know from your time in Rostov. The vile gnome is standing on a small hill, expressing his discontentment in every way he can muster.
Let me guess, you're still dawdling. Should I make some tea in the meantime? Bake a pie, perhaps? Plant a small garden and harvest some cherries? Perhaps you'd be more comfortable wearing fool's caps and colored trousers. Then at least I'd be able to sell tickets. Come on, come all! Feast your eyes upon the slowest and the most ridiculous buffoons in Golorian.
Why hurry? The same end awaits us all.
Hold your tongue, gnome. I can hardly tell your twaddle from the buzzing of a fly.
Quickly now, if we don't find that artifact soon, someone else might seize it. Someone who's standing over there watching you right now, you fools!
Jathal, isn't Tartuccio's arrogance long past what you can suffer? I can find far better use for a companion such as you. The elf looks at you for a brief moment, then nods silently. She draws her weapon and eyes Tartuccio coldly.
I see my magnificent rival will stop at nothing, even at stealing the servants of his enemy. Let us see if your fools are even more useless than mine. Draw your swords and cover my retreat.
onto your flesh.
Alright, so we've got a couple of things here going on.
Let us strike as one.
Tear them apart! Die, die, die!
we have Jathal in the party. Who gets an immediate level up. And I have to find her in the list. Okay. Apparently she's going to multi-class into fighter. I just forgot to look up what kind of fighter. It's going to be a two-handed fighter. Which makes sense. What's her int? And we're gonna give her dodge. Do something like that. Alright. Let's see what everyone's got on there. +1 sword. Scorched fragment of a necklace. Hurricane bow. Fruit. Skin mill. What is Jathal wearing? Chainmail. 6+2.
State your desire.
Okay, you can't wear that anyway. Right? Oh, you can. It's not as good as your chainmail, though. Image carved in stone was never completely worn away with the ages. One can still distinguish a sickle, sword, and a skull in a single eye socket, covered with a coin. Judging by the outline, this bas relief once depicted the sun and moon, and now it's completely eroded. Closer inspection, one can discern the outline of a single head with a single eye. Seems from afar, but the cracks of the stone, faded image of a sun, a grinning jackal's skull recently been scratched at the top of the image.
Forwards?
What's that?
Backwards!
How curious.
You see
I
that?
do see that.
Did you see
I
that?
did. We all saw that. Gonna pop an extra save. How sweet! The first breath of fresh air after the stale dampness damp stuffness. Jesus, words. Well, let's try this one more time. How sweet the first breath of fresh air after the stale, damp stuffiness of that tomb. Before us stretched an unending heath, replete with hills and gullies and patches of low shrubs. Already the trail of Tartuccio and his companions had gone cold. But we would not give up so easily. Whether the trail went cold or not, it was one we had to follow. No blade of grass was bent. It must have had enough time to straighten back up, since whoever passed through. But the heath's dry earth preserved the prints of little shoes. Our eyes to the ground, we followed the trail. We walked and walked until we finally came to a huge gully, the dried up bed of a river of yore. But what is this? At the edge of the grass trampled down, the soil turned up claw prints, lots of them. We'd stumbled upon a fresh battlefield, and here the trail split. One set of footprints walked away from the battle and down into the gully. Brave footprints that faced down their enemies, that followed the path along its edge. Let's detect magic. And here the trail split. One set of footprints. We discovered traces of a spell, apparently from the illusion school of magic, near the lonely trail to descend to the gully. I tried to imagine who or what could have left those claw marks. Unfortunately, we could not determine who attacked Tartuccio and his companions. However, we could discern that there were plenty of attackers, and they were small. We carefully studied the trail that led down the path of the gully. To our surprise, we discovered that one of the little shoe prints turned into little clawed footprints on the way to the gully. It is as if someone from Tartuccio's band was wearing shoes and then either took them off or grew claws, then jumped into the gully to avoid the battle. The path was frequently used. In its dust, we saw both sets of footprints together. It was clear that those who had no claws left the battle, surrounded by those who did. We stood a while in thought, then followed the single set of footprints down into the gully. The way down was steep, and it took some time to reach the bottom. Walking on the loose soil was difficult, but the clawed footsteps were easy to spot. The bottom of the gully went downhill, deeper and deeper. Finally, the footprints turned, whirled up the steep slope, and disappeared at the gully's edge. We couldn't but admire the animal agility and clever claws of the creature that we were following. The slope before us was tall as two men, and ended at the hanging crest. Climbing such a slope would be no easier than climbing a sheer wall. However, a long, steady looking root stuck out of the ground from the top. There's more than one brave hero among us who decided to try his luck at climbing the root. And that'd be me, because I'm the one with the best mobility. After tugging on the root, took a deep breath and grabbed it by both hands and began the difficult ascent. Pushing with his feet against the rope and grabbing the root with both hands, he climbed higher and higher. Only his heavy breathing and faint creaking of the root broke the deadly silence. Suddenly, dust poured down from the top, and the root began to slide from the ground. Keeping his wits, he shifted his weight to his legs and froze. After a tense moment, he continued his journey, and then soon had reached the top of the slope. After catching his breath, he laid on the ground and offered us his hand to help the next of us up. After climbing out of the gully one by one, we easily found the claw footprints again and moved forward. The air grew tense, and we sensed that we were approaching our target, and our intuition proved correct. So if you don't pass the mobility check or the check to find the footprints, you miss this section, I believe.
Step, step, step.
Which is bad because there are items to be had. Booze. Also a conversation, but items.
Listen to me. A dragon, huge, sparkling, flew down to me from the sky and told me a secret. A great relic that will win the kobold's glory is hidden somewhere nearby. Enough of this pitiful existence. Search for it. Search and bring it to me.
Dragon, glory, dragon. We know the mites under the old sycamore. They possess the magic treasure. Very ancient. It's one thing I never expected to see in the middle of a forest. A circus show. Learning a new trade, Tartuccio?
You! When will I finally be rid of you? Don't listen to him, tribesmen. This liar comes to play tricks on us. You and you, hold him back. The rest of you, follow me.
To victory!
New recipe to be had. There.
Trail me. I spy. What do I spy?
Got an ancient Rostlandic coin. More booze, I believe. Yep. And another one.
Time.
Which right now those aren't worth anything, but they will be worth more later. Alright, now we could go to Old Sycamore, but we're gonna go towards the Thorn Ford.
How curious. You have my attention.
Step, step, step.
Dark-haired bandit who's kicking the ground the dark-haired bandit is kicking the ground irritably. When she sees you, she squares her shoulders and clenches her hand axes. Well, look who's here. Look, easy now. I'm not here to blanket the stolen lands with corpses. Lower your weapon and let's talk. I won't kill anyone who leaves the Stag Lord's service or is willing to help me find him. So think about it. Is he really a leader you're ready to die for? Something in your words seemed to have impressed Cressel. She frowns for a moment, then spits. Fine, I won't cut your throat, for now at least, but I won't kneel to some Restov upstart. Why would you try to make peace? Are you naturally kind, or have you been listening to Svetlana? She asked me to show you mercy, and I don't know why. Mercy, huh? Haven't heard that in the Stolen Lands for a long time. Alright, here's my piece. The Stag Lord's been spending more time keeping an eye on the bottom of his glass than what's going on around him. If he won't answer an insult from some Restov crook like Jamandi, then you're right. We chose the wrong leader. So go ahead, do whatever you're gonna do. I won't stop you, but I won't help you either. And here, give this to Svetlana. You see a dark-haired man, about 45. Though his wrinkles on his face make him look 60 at first sight, he's currently a prisoner, judging from his tied hands. He slouches a bit, squinting short-sightedly at the light as he moves his lips, as though speaking to someone invisible. He jerks his head up as he notices you. Praise Erastil. Someone has finally chased off the scoundrels. Thank you, stranger. My name is Jod Kvakin. I'm a priest of Erastil from Galt. These bandits attacked me as I was crossing the river, said that they wanted to take me to their leader and make me heal their wounds. Not a chance. Strength granted to me by Erastil is meant to help honest people, not robbers. Glad I could help, I guess. Oh, these times, as to be a surprise to me, an honest man, as to see a manticore at a vegetable stall. Thank you for your help. I've exhausted my supply of prayers, but I'll gladly repay you in the future once I've restored my strength. Come see me if you ever need to be healed or blessed. I'm afraid an old fool like me won't be able to handle the mission given to me by Erastil on my own. How can I search for a temple when the bandits around here won't let me take a single step? I'll head to Oleg Levitin's trading post to rest and think about what to do next. Please, traveler, if you happen to discover the ruins of the Temple of the come inform old Jod. My gratitude would know no bounds. Be our next. Here's a task. As soon as you're done with the taxes, find an old hut upstream of the Thorn River and burn it to the ground. This is the Stag Lord's wish. He literally said, burn, burn. It was originally going to be Dovin, but he grew upset when he learned nobody lived in the hut. Said burning houses with no one in them was boring. So I said I'd send somebody more reliable. It's a strange task, but try to finish it quickly, and no asking what though or why bother with this rifle instead of preparing for war with Restov. We'll get to that. And another recipe.
I did it!
Hell yeah, you did. That sucks. What's in there? I should have saved beforehand, and I'm not going to go back for it because it's not hugely consequential. Essentially, what's there is the Stag Lord's booze, and you can spike it, which will give you an advantage when you fight him. I think he's like dazed or something. I don't necessarily remember.
This requires your attention. What a surprise.
I'm not mad enough to do
We make an
Stop
epic
being
pose.
bad.
I need inspiration.
Stop being bad. Stop rolling a 1. You might want to move. You go. You go. You go.
Do not falter! Ha!
Burn! Slice! Behead, yes!
Unworthy.
What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
Good old dice gods. Ever so helpful.
No secrets can escape my prying gaze.
Ring of protection and a masterwork heavy flail.
Step, step, step!
Alright. So I've got a ring of protection. In case anyone's wondering why I don't just put it on this character to boost his AC higher, it doesn't work like that. When it comes to like bonuses, they don't stack if they're the same type. Like these are both deflection bonuses, so they don't stack on top of each other. So I have to give this to a different character essentially. Now, if it was something else like if it just had a different category, like it was a magic armor or morality, or not morality, but like morale bonus to his armor or natural armor or something like that, then it would stack. But since they're both deflection, it just takes whatever's the highest and goes with it.